Hey everyone, it's Mr. Wildboy94. I hope you're doing well today. I have a book haul video for you. This is the first one I've done in ages, like 2 years I think. It's been a while. Anyway, I have a book haul here of manga only. Basically, I've been in a big itch to read some manga after my friend BD Horror, whose new YouTube channel is called The Horror Tavern. He rebranded BD Horror to The Horror Tavern, and I couldn't recommend it enough. Great guy, really love his content. Check him out if you love anime, manga, but mainly horror stuff. He's doing a lot of that with books and everything nowadays. He had me talking about a lot of manga in Discord, and he recommended a lot of stuff to me. And I had this itch to want to read some more comics and manga, and I decided to go shopping yesterday, despite not needing to do that. And I ended up spending like 3 weeks worth of shopping money that I usually don't do in one go, unless it's a big purchase. This, in my opinion, was a big purchase. I bought 6 books, and they were, interesting, to say the least. So I figured I'd show these here to you. A few of these names you're going to know, maybe even one of them you'll probably have read because of how popular it is amongst manga. But the first couple I don't think you've ever heard of, more than likely, unless it's way more popular than I realize. I don't know. But let's start off with Volume 1 here that I picked up, or the first book, I guess, which is a Volume 1, called Dead Company by Yoshiki Tonagai. Now, if this looks familiar, this 200-page volume here, and this rabbit furry head on a suit man, this is tied and from the same writer of a series called Doubt, and another kind of spin-off series from the same idea called Judge. And basically they're like the Saw franchise. I have Doubt right here, the first, I guess the only 2 volumes. I guess there is only 2 volumes in total. I don't think it was ever extended past this, aside from starting a new series called Judge, which I've heard is good. I've not read, but I do have at least 1 volume on my Kindle or my Nook. But Doubt was very cool. And again, it's kind of like the Saw movies. If you've ever seen the Saw movies, it's usually about people being kidnapped, put in a location, they don't trust each other, they have traps, they can die as the story goes on. Doubt was very cool for that. If you love horror, it's a big thing for you, despite it being kind of predictable. It's a good story. I like it quite a bit. And I'm hoping Judge will be good too. I want to know, is Doubt like finished? Like, is that it, just the 2 volumes? I could be wrong. I don't know. But what I read of it, I really liked. Judge, haven't read it, haven't really heard anybody talk about it either, so that's kind of up in the air about whether that's any good or not. But Dead Company is its own standalone. Think of it like American Horror Story. You can jump into this just like you could with Doubt or Judge, and they're kind of their own standalone stories, from the title alone, that you really don't need to read anything before it to really get what's going on. Dead Company is so different from Doubt that I have read that I'll talk about it more in my review, but it is a standalone thing from a new approach that's more like Cube Zero, which is kind of like the precursor to the Saw movies. There's 3 Cube films that were kind of the same idea as Saw. But Dead Company has more in common with Cube Zero than it does Saw, and I'll get to that more in my review. But anyway, let's move along with the list here, because I need to move along. This book here I picked up because I loved the red color they used on the actual book. It looks like it's going to be kind of like a horror, sci-fi, maybe a little bit of fantasy book mixed in there, I don't know. But it's called Die Dark, Volume 1. The story and art, by the way, are Q Hayashida? I don't know. Anyway, this cover looks badass. It's got like a Mad Max flair to it. And when I flipped it over, I saw this little zombie man floating through space here. But I love that red and black, color coordination, I don't know what to call it. This is going to be the next one I start to read. I've actually, by this point, since I bought all this stuff yesterday, I've already read Dead Company, and I've already read one of these other books in here that I just finished up a moment ago. But Die Dark I'm going to start in a moment when I finish up this video, and hopefully it'll be good, but we'll see what happens with that. Sounds pretty cool. Not really sure what's going to be happening in that story, but the paper quality is very thick in there, so hopefully it'll be good. The next book here is one that, again, I think many of you have heard of. It's very popular. The author actually passed away recently, like in the last year or 2. And I think they finished up the series entirely with a new kind of protege of that author's. I'm not really sure. But anyway, this is Berserk Volume 1 from Kentaro Miura. I had heard back in the day from my favorite YouTuber of all time who has no videos up anymore. He removed them in case you want to watch him. I'm sorry to tell you. But his YouTube channel was called Blows Himself Up Dude, and I watched the man's videos religiously growing up into my adulthood before he removed everything. And he always talked about how much he loved Berserk and how he had complaints and stuff. But I never really knew much about this. It's kind of like a horror fantasy thing too. It's very mature. Even the little warning here is kind of strange about a lot of gore. I've heard there's a lot of nudity in it too, kind of like the God of War earlier games. But I don't know. This seems like it'll be up my alley. It's a 200-page volume, by the way, not like a 3-in-1 or anything. This sounds really badass. I've heard it's awesome. I've heard it's very cool and fun. I think there's like 50 volumes or 40-something volumes. I saw a ton out there at Barnes & Noble. But Berserk to this day is so popular that it even pops up in places like Walmart in those big black volumes of collections. So I don't know if it's going to be good or not, but I really hope it is because it looks like it'll be awesome. The artwork looks freaking sick in here, dude. Look at this stuff. Look at this art, man. This totally sold me on this as soon as I picked it up. And usually manga art is really good anyway, but Berserk Volume 1 is going to be really hard to pronounce, but it's also going to be a good read, I think. I just have a lot of confidence in this pick, I think, is the thing. And a lot of the time when I pick up manga or start a new anime or something, I have a lot of issues with that because of my fear that it's going to be terrible, basically. All right, moving along to the next book here. This is one that I also completed just a moment ago before recording this video, and it was a very mixed bag. I will review it in case you want to check out my opinions on it, but just tune in for that. Anyway, this is Batman Justice Buster, Volume 1, from Ichi Shimizu and Tomohiro Shimaguchi. Anyway, here's the cover here, and I didn't really know what to make of it. It's not a really good cover. Of course, you have Batman and some person right here that has like a Mexican wrestler mask on, like Nacho Libre or something. And the idea of a Batman manga appealed to my brain immediately, because I'm a huge Batman fan. He is my favorite superhero of all time, up there with Superman. Spider-Man's probably my next favorite. But I love Batman. What I thought was super interesting about this is that I flipped it over and there's no write-up, no synopsis, nothing. There's nothing to tell you what this is going to be about. And I was like, why the hell would you do that with a book? So I worried immediately, but I was like, I gotta try this out. I gotta know what this is. And apparently there's a few volumes of this book, as well as like a Superman manga and like a Joker manga, which the Joker one looks like it'll be pretty cool. I don't think those have any correlation to this, but interestingly enough, this was not a very good book. As I said, I read it right before this video again, and it's got some interesting twists on Batman, is all I can say. I want to save all of that for that video, but I'm just telling you, it's a very weird one. Anyway, moving along to the next one here. This one really fucked me up when I tried to read the cover here. It's called Spider-Man Fake Red, and it's by Yusuke Osawa. Now, the reason it messed me up, and I love this cover, by the way, I thought it said fakered, and it took me ages to understand that there's supposed to be a space right here, that you could have just spaced it out enough. Just a little bit more, and it would have made it better. But anyway, this cover, you got Spider-Man, you got my boy Venom, looking like Tom Hardy's Venom too, because he doesn't have like the emblem on his chest that we can see. You have Scorpion back here, you have some kind of pink Silver Surfer. This could end up being horrible, but it could end up being good. I have this weird feeling, because I'm not a big Spider-Man comics guy, because a lot of the Amazing Spider-Man line or Spectacular Spider-Man line I've never been a big fan of, to be honest, despite Spider-Man being a huge thing that I love with the movies and the cartoons most of the time. But I noticed, interestingly enough, this does not say like Volume 1, Volume 2, whatever on the side of the book. I looked out for that. As far as I know, this is a standalone. I have not looked it up on Amazon or anything, so I'm very curious to see what Fake Red is going to be, why it's called Fake Red. Is it going to be a symbiote story? Is it going to have my boy Venom in there quite a bit, or is he going to be a cameo? Which could make or break the book for me, to be honest. But anyway, it's a pretty thick volume too, compared to something like Batman. Batman was like a 200-page volume, but this looks like it's going to be 2 volumes in one, so I assume this is a completed book with nothing else attached to it, maybe a sequel spinoff, I don't know. Which I wish Marvel would do more things like this, and DC as well, aside from putting out, you know, whatever they do nowadays with events and shit. Missing issues and all of that. But Fake Red, Spider-Man Fake Red, I'm hoping it's going to be a good one. That's going to be one that I might start tonight. I don't know. Because I'm going to read Die Dark next, like as soon as I finish this video. But if I finish up that today, I probably will start Spider-Man Fake Red tonight. I haven't decided. Anyway, this final book here is also a Marvel superhero that got a manga adaptation of some sort. And this is called Deadpool Samurai Volume 1 from Sanshiro Kasama, excuse me, and the art is done by Hikaru Usugi. I am terrible with names. I am so sorry. I actually saw this in Walmart about a month ago, and when I went back to get it, because it was super cheap, it was like $7 out there, I had to pay like 12 yesterday at Barnes & Noble for it. Fucking Barnes & Noble, they suck ass. Anyway, Deadpool Samurai, I saw it at Walmart for like dirt cheap. I was going to pick it up. When I went back to get it again, it was gone. The one volume. So it piqued my interest when I picked it up and realized that the book was backwards and that it was a manga. And I was like, holy shit, they're doing mangas for Marvel Comics and stuff now. Didn't realize the Batman or Spider-Man 1 existed yet. But Deadpool Samurai, dude, this could end up being really good, to be honest with you. And I love Deadpool comics, not so much the movies. The movies are okay. I like them. I think they're certainly above average. Ryan Reynolds is the best Deadpool we will ever have on film. The only Deadpool you could ever really aspire to have on film, in my personal opinion. He was born for that role. But the comics are really where I think Deadpool shines the most from what I've read of him. And I haven't read a Deadpool comic in a while, so I'm really hoping to get around to this sometime soon, but I don't know how soon. Anyway, Deadpool Samurai, hoping it's going to be good. I don't know how long that series is either, but hopefully it's going to be worth the money and the time. With all that being said, that is the haul of books that I picked up right here in the manga selection. Hopefully all of these are going to be good, aside from that Batman one that I read. If you've read any of these, I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments about them down in the comments section down below. Were they good? Were they bad? What's your favorite? What's your least favorite? Have you read all of them? I'd love to hear all of that down below. And yeah, let me know your thoughts on everything I said here. Thank you all for watching, guys. God bless you all. Catch you later, and see you in the reviews for the next couple of books I have to review anyway. Thank you all. God bless you, and goodbye.